What's up guys, welcome back to the channel.
Thanks for tuning in. I don't have much footage of fishing, so I figured maybe I'd just do an unboxing and maybe an installation video. Got a package in today from YakAttack, and it's got some good accessories, and I'm gonna be rigging up my kayak for this trip that we've got coming up on Memorial Day to the upper Mississippi River again with the Smallmouth podcast crew. I don't know, I'm just gonna quit rambling without further ado. Let's get this kayak rigged up. So I guess before we get the kayak rigged up, let's go ahead and unbox what we got from YakAttack. I've got some pretty good ideas of how I want to get this thing rigged up. You know, in the past, I've just kind of been willy-nilly, if you will, just with my kayak, just didn't really care, not much thought went into, you know, rigging. First of all, we've got some YakAttack Omega rod holders. These are pretty awesome, lots of adjustability. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on these. You can look them up on their website, YakAttack. But there's one, got one of those, and here's another one, another Omega rod holder. These are going to be great for staging and rigging and, you know, just extra storage. That's all it is to it. I've got another one of these lock and load bases for my Panfish Pro mount that I bought a few months ago. That's so that I can move the Panfish Pro camera mount to different locations on my kayak for different angles, things of that nature. What else we got? We got two of these. These are the MightyMount XLs. I had initially bought, it was a curved rail set from Native Watercraft. The thing with those is that they're the standard rails, and they stick up about an inch off of the kayak when you install them, and I just didn't like the looks of it. And so I went with these. These are super low profile, a better option in my opinion. Nothing against Native Watercraft, it's just for my uses and the way that they look, I think these are much better. And these are the 12-inch version. With the 12-inch version, you get 10 inches of usable track. I got two of these. These are the vertical tie downs. When you order these, you get a kit of two. And then I got two of these right here, which are the MightyMount IIs. And these are the little bitty guys. And these are gonna be used in conjunction with this. And that's what I'm really excited about. And it has to do with my pedal drive system, which I'm gonna show you here soon. But I think that's all I got. And of course, you know, you also get typical swag YakAttack stickers, which we'll be putting those on the kayak today as well. Let's go ahead and let's get to rigging this kayak. So here we go, guys. I've got her out of the shed and set up on these sawhorses, but for those of you that didn't know, or those of you who are new, I used to have a Native Watercraft Slayer 12XC, and I ended up selling that kayak to a good friend of mine, but I sold that to him, it's been over a year now, and actually got this kayak on our way to the upper Mississippi River trip last year. And I owe you guys a review on this kayak. I said that I was gonna do it, but I still haven't done it, and I will get one out. I will. I feel like I've now gotten plenty of time behind the pedals, enough to put out a good review, so stay tuned for that in the future. Let's go ahead and get this thing rigged up. Like I've said before, you know, I've never really focused much on actual rigging. You know, I just kind of throw my stuff in there and I go. Pretty disorganized when it comes to the kayak, but let's go ahead and get this thing going. All right, guys, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking this gear track. That's what we're gonna start with. It's the 12-inch. And I went ahead and put my kayak crate in here, and I know it looks pretty busted, but that's what I've got. But I've got my gear track here, and I'm just kind of moving it around here, trying to figure out where I want to mount it. And I don't think there would be a good spot. First of all, it's pretty out of reach. It's already hard to reach my rods when they're in these little rod tubes anyway. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mount it somewhere in this area here. That way, I'll have easy access to these rod holders here. I can put one there, one on the other side, or if I want, I can go ahead and mount my Panfish Pro camera mount on there if I would like, or whatever else I need to mount. And it would be an easy access. I wouldn't have to reach real far back, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna kind of get it lined up here, and I'm gonna go ahead and drill my first hole, and keep in mind that you need to use a 1/8 inch drill bit. You're gonna use a 1/8 inch drill bit for your pilot holes. We're gonna go ahead and drill one corner. We're gonna get it lined up, go ahead and sink in a screw. I've also got some Walmart special Starbright marine grade silicone sealant. I'm gonna go ahead and probably put a little dab of that on the beginning of each threaded screw, just for a little extra water protection, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing mounted up, drilled, and screwed in. All right, guys, so what I've done here is I've gone ahead and I went and got my square here, and I've put it right along my little steering column here. There's a little outer edge here. I'm gonna put it against here to make sure that's nice and just at least squared up to the point where it looks decent. This gives me enough space up here to get my adapter off nice and easy. It slides in and out. You'll see what I mean here in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and get that lined up and just kind of eyeball it, make sure it's, you know, even on both sides here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make my first hole here. and that was pretty buttery smooth. And so there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and get my screws and my silicone right on the end of the threads here, and that will, as you're threading it in, it will spread along all the threads and up to the head of the screw and seal the head of the screw. That's the theory here. And I'm gonna go ahead and start this by hand. There we go. I'm not gonna cinch that down all the way yet. Put my square back up here. Make sure it's still squared up. Go ahead and make my next drill. Go ahead and make sure that's good, okay? Next hole. There we go. Get another screw. Put another dab of the silicone on the end of the threads here. And there we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and, I guess I'll go ahead and get those tightened down. Not real tight, but at least tight enough to hold it in place. And I'm not gonna use my drill actually to do any of these screws. I'm just gonna do it by hand. I don't wanna, there's really no reason to give it any crazy torque. So we've got it lined up. I'm gonna go ahead and just work my way on down. I'll go ahead and just drill the holes out real quick. There we go. Now we can go ahead and start all of our screws. And I will go ahead and speed this process up for you right now. Okay guys, there we go. We got this first one installed. Let's go ahead and give it a test real quick, just by taking this little track adapter here for the rod holder, and we're just gonna slide it right in. And seems to be pretty good. We'll go ahead and get that tightened down, and then well, it works with this right here. I mean, there we go, man. That's pretty sturdy. Completely remove it and leave those track adapters there. Put it on, but yeah, that looks pretty good. Nice and square, pretty secure. Got it sealed up with the silicone. Let's get on to the other side. All right, guys, so all I'm doing here is just trying to make sure that these two sides are as even as possible. I don't want to be looking too jacked up, you know, but what I noticed is the other side is it goes about a ½ inch past this lip right here. Not that that really matters to you because your kayak's gonna vary, but that's just what I'm doing. I'm just making sure that it's as squared away as possible. I mean, that looks to be about right. Go ahead and get us a screw ready, coated with some silicone. Get that first one started, and then we'll go from there. There's our second one. Same thing as the other side. We're just gonna go ahead and coat these up, and I'll go ahead and speed this up for you. All right, guys, so for all you fellow pedal drive users out there, pedal drive kayak users, especially river guys like me, I'm sure you're probably aware that having a pedal drive can really be a pain in the butt, especially when you're constantly changing water depths. You're constantly having to pull in that drive out, constantly having to figure out what to do with it when you come upon shallow water. And what I've always done is just, in order to mitigate that, is pull my drive up while I'm, you know, coming up on some shallow water, and I just leave it kind of hanging here and see how it's kind of bouncing around. If you come into a bad situation or whatever, or you're getting into some rapids and stuff, this thing can bounce around and slam back down. I think I finally found a solution to this, and I'm really excited to show you guys. So what I'm gonna do is, well, I'll just go ahead and I'll just install it and explain to you as I'm doing that. Okay guys, so here's my idea. I've got the MightyMount, the little miniature MightyMount, right? And then I have these strap tie downs, and they attach just like any other YakAttack accessory for your rails. I also have the strap, which I found the other day when I was cleaning out my truck, and I decided to keep it. Luckily, I didn't decide to throw it away. So my idea is, in order to, you know, when I'm coming up on there's some shallow water coming, I gotta flip my drive up, right? You flip it up, but like I said, it's always kind of bouncing around. It's just not secure. I'd say probably 60 to 70% of the time, I'm not even using this in the river. The rivers that I fish, they're just too shallow. So I'd like to leave it up. I'd like to leave it up so I can stand up and cast and sight fish and not have to worry about it and just kind of have it be out of the way. Give me more space here. So I'm gonna mount these here, okay, with these little ties, and I'll run that strap through it, and the strap will go over top, right? It's a buckle, and it'll hold it in place and keep it from, you know, flopping around and flopping back down and things of that nature. So that's my idea, and I think it's gonna work. I really do. These little MightyMounts here, they're designed to hold some good weight because they come with washers and nuts for the backside, which we have easy access right here. These bolts are much bigger So let's go ahead and get it started. See how this works out. I'm gonna do some measuring here to make sure that I get these two mounts as even as I can. And yeah, I'm gonna do some measuring. Stick around, stay tuned, and we'll go ahead and get that mounted up and see if it works. All right, guys, so what I've done here is I'm just trying to get these lined up. And by the way, I had to take a quick recess to go get a 17/64 drill bit because these use that size and I didn't have it. So the way that I'm getting these lined up here is I'm just, you know, if you put it in a certain spot, it won't be even as far as all four corners, so it'll be kind of wobbly. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want this to where it will be as even as possible so that I can get even pressure on all four screws, if that makes any sense to you. See, if you were to put it down here, it would be wobbly and just not a very flat surface. So I'm just trying to find the surface that is the flattest possible so that I'm not getting any warpage or warping my kayak or whatever. Honestly, right there feels pretty good. And I think this time I'm gonna mark the holes before I drill. I'm gonna go ahead and just do two, just marked all over myself, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do two for now. I'm gonna go ahead and do some pilot holes first. Undo that, open up my 17/64 drill bit, get a nice hole drilled. And there we go. That's that first hole. And I will also be hitting these with some marine grade silicone as well. Go ahead and get me a nut and a bolt and a washer out. I think the washer is going to go on the back side, I'm pretty sure. Get this hatch off here. Let's go ahead and get some silicone on here. A little bit on the end of the threads there. And this looks to be a nylon lock nut, so we'll go ahead and get our washer on under here. And I'm just going to reach under here and just go ahead and screw it on. So that's good. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I think that since these are not threaded, these don't thread into the actual kayak material, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these drilled first, and then I'm gonna coat the bottom of this whole thing in a nice bead of silicone. Take those screws out. I'm gonna put a bead of silicone wherever these are making contact. I'm gonna put a bead around each one of these holes. Go ahead and stick this down here. I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple screws in and now I'm gonna go find out what size nut this is. All right, guys, so you will need a 7/16 wrench or socket, either way, whichever you prefer. And I'm gonna go ahead and get these mounted up here. Let's go ahead and get it tight. All right, guys, there we go. Got that installed. Super secure, and just like everything else, it just unscrews and you can screw whatever. You can put a camera there if you wanted to, but like I said, this is going to be my solution for the pedal drive. So now all we need to do is put one adjacent to this one on the other side of the kayak. We can use our straps, we can use bungees, whatever you want to do to hold this pedal drive in place. Stay tuned, we're going to get to the other side. All right, guys, so there we go. We got her finished up. We got those installed. Just see how she works. You got these straps here, and you just kind of wrap it around and buckle it off, and I can tighten them and loosen them to however I need, but look at that. And there we go. Pretty clean installation. I haven't yet decided if I'm gonna use bungee cords or if I'm gonna stick with the strap, but right now it's serving its purpose. It's keeping that thing from falling back, and it's kind of loose right now, but I can tighten that up even more if I want. Got this spare little base there for my Panfish Pro. I can move that wherever I want. Move it right over here. Put it there if I want. There's the rod holders. Well, guys, that about wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you got anything out of this video at all, of any significance at all, please hit the like button. Haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers if we're not already there yet by the time this video's out. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.